Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to give my quick take on Black Adam. But before I do that, let me give you the synopsis, and this comes from Google. In ancient Kandak, Teth Adam was bestowed the almighty powers of the gods. After using these powers for vengeance, he was imprisoned, becoming Black Adam. Nearly 5,000 years have passed, and Black Adam has gone from man to myth to legend. Now free, his unique form of justice, born out of rage, is challenged with modern day heroes who form the Justice Society: Hawkman, Doctor Fate, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone. So let's just get into it, right? So I was disappointed. I was disappointed with this film. It's basic. It's a basic movie. It's a basic plot, basic. Uh, Everything about it was basic. The direction was basic. Everything was it didn't pull me in. It didn't make me feel. It didn't get me emotional, and the emotional beats that they were trying to give us, it didn't. I didn't get it for me personally. It was so disappointing, man. It could have been so good. I can see where they were going, and it just could have been so much better. And unfortunately for me, it just wasn't. And I walked out the theater just super disappointed with it. Um, so that's what it's. I mean, it starts off, and the movie starts off in Kandak, right? So they're, the Rock's character, he's a slave, and so is his son, and they're looking for this sort of like a rock. It's like this, almost like an amethyst colored rock, ultiminium. I forgot what they called it, and it's supposed to like give powers or something. And so the king there, that's where he basically enslaved his people to find that rock, right? Because he wants the ultimate powers. So that's where we get that, right? And so what ends up happening is his son witnesses one of the slaves who found the rock and gives it to one of the soldiers there. And the slave is like, "Do I get my reward? I found it. We were promised a reward." And the soldier is like, "Okay, you'll get your reward," and he just stabs him, and just throws him off like the side of a mountain, really. And it looks so much like what is it, that movie? Like, what is it? Damn, the Zack Snyder film, 500 something. I already forgot that film. I don't remember. But when they're in the ancient times, I don't know. I forgot. But all in slow mo, and I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. I know they're trying to make it look cool, whatever. So the kid is like pissed, right? He's like, "No, we should, he just sees the injustice, right?" So then he steals the rock from the soldier, and he's running, and he gets captured. And when they're gonna, I don't remember if it's the king, it's himself, or another soldier is gonna basically kill the kid, like chop his head off. He just vanishes, and that's when we see all the wizards, the Shazam wizards that we saw in Shazam, um, basically bestow the Shazam powers to the kid. So then he becomes the hero, right? So the kid's the hero, and like is fighting the king, fighting all the wrongdoings of the king. But then what we learn later in the movie, what happens is, so they go after that kid's, well, the Rock, his character, the father, because he's the father of the kid. They go after him and the mother, and so the mother dies, and he's about to die when the kid shows up to their home, and is like, and the kid gives him the Shazam powers. He bestows him the powers. It's not the wizards giving the Rock's character the powers; it's the kid. So when he says Shazam, he gets the powers, and the kid becomes back to a kid. But then immediately after that happens, what they said in the movie, the king's assassins, they threw spears, or not spears, bow, like the for the bow and arrow, the arrows, it went through, and it killed the kid. So then that's when you know, really the Black Adam came into form, and he was consumed with vengeance. So then when that happened, he was basically destroying the whole city. The wizards came back and imprisoned him. So he's been in prison for 5,000 years. So then, we cut now to modern day, and it's modern day Kandak, and one of the lady that I don't remember her name. She's looking for the crown, the same crown that the king was trying to make from that. I guess the jewel. I guess I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how he made the crown. I don't even know how he made the crown. I don't even know if they even showed him how they even possessed the crown. But whatever. So she's looking for that because that is also going to give you power. And I don't even know why she's even looking for it. To be honest, I know. I think they said it, but I don't remember. That's how disappointed I am with this film. And so she finds it, but then she also sees inscriptions, and she's like, "Oh, the Teth Adam, the whatever the the myth is true, right?" And so then soldiers come by, and this is just such a mess of a movie. Soldiers come by, and because one of the guys that's with her really is working with this other organization that took over Kandak, and it's a mess. It's a complete mess to me. It makes sense if you're watching it, but it's just trying to explain it is so difficult for me, at least for me. And so they ended up. So the lady and her brother end up with the crown, and now that everyone's looking for it, and but before they're gonna get killed, but she says the inscription on the what's on the floor on the ground, and then Teth Adam comes to life, right? So that's a weird thing for me because later on, because we're led to believe, or the characters there are led to believe that he's the hero, right? He's the one that the myth is about, the hero of Kandak. But in reality, as we know, it was the kid, not the Rock's character, because the Rock was just out for vengeance. It was the kid that was really trying to free the people. And so what the weird part is, why would the wizards imprison him, but make an inscription where you just say the inscription and he comes back? That makes no sense at all, at all. You got to be more clever with this, man. It's just that part was really annoying. It's like, oh, really? Just saying Shazam, and then he comes out, and now he's free again. That they made it that easy, the wizards. Cool, wizards, very good for you. Holy moly! That's a frustrating part. So then he comes back alive, and he's again he's just filled with rage. Um, and he's just killing people. So that part I did like, there's a superhero who's just killing people. So I don't mind that part. So that part is cool. Another part that really bothered me, that found really disappointing, is how did he know English? How did he speak perfect English? He has an American accent. He doesn't even have the accent that the other characters are using from Kandak. He doesn't even have that. He doesn't even pretend to do the accent. He just has an American accent, and he just starts speaking English like it's nothing. I mean, from time to time, you will hear him say words in Kandak or whatever. I don't know the language. I'm assuming it's Kandak. I don't even know if it's a. I'm assuming it's a fake uh, city. Like a lot of DC. In DC, there's a lot of fake cities, so I'm assuming it's a fake city. I don't know. Maybe it's real. I have no idea. But so I've seen in films do this. So what they've done in other films that I've seen is when someone doesn't know the language, or what they'll do is they'll do this visual thing, not necessarily like a VFX or anything, but we'll see the person's eyes kind of analyzing what's happening, and then they start speaking English, whatever. So it could have been something as simple as that, right? It doesn't have to be anything complicated, but anything that would have been better than just him just with an American accent, like, yeah, I'm speaking English. Yeah, I already know every word. And he didn't even, not once did he go like, when they were speaking English to him, like, go, blah, 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 in that language, right? Not even once. He's just like, oh, yeah, yeah, I speak English. Yeah. Oh, cool. It was so weird. That part was another disappointing thing. It's like, what? Who was thinking of this, man? Like, we don't want to make it complicated for the audience. That was so, it's lazy writing. There's just too many negatives. Honestly, there's so many, the negatives outweigh the positives for me. Um, so I'm just gonna go more into the negatives. I mean, the story is what it is, man. Ah, for me to even just break down the whole film, it's just not even worth it, man. So then the Justice Society show up, right? And what I do like is when they start telling the Justice Society, "Where were you guys? Where the hell were you guys?" When they're trying to, so the Justice Society is trying to tell the people there, it's like, "Hey, this guy is just killing people. He's a bad guy. He's not the hero that you guys think he is. We're gonna take him away." And they're like, "No, he's our hero, right?" Because they still think he's that Teth Adam. He's that the myth, right? They don't know that about the vengeance part because there's a statue of really the sun there. So they think that's him, but it's not. And so when they start telling the Justice Society shows up and they're like, oh, uh, we're gonna take him away, the people are like, no, where were you guys? I mean, we're being invaded here, and where are you guys? You guys aren't here. Yeah, we've never seen you guys before. This is the first time you come here. So no, this is our hero. You guys aren't our heroes. This is our hero. That's what they're saying, right? And that part I did like, right? But one of the things that bothered me is the Justice Society themselves. They brought in, so there's Hawkman. He's pretty cool. Dr. Fate, kind of weak to be honest. I know I don't know if they try to make him like Doctor Strange, but it's very weak, man. Just did this shield and didn't do really much. And he would see like images and wouldn't even talk about him, be very cryptic about it. Why? Why? Why do movies have to do that? Be so cryptic about things. It's so annoying. Like I said, it's so lazy in the writing. And then Adam Smasher and Cyclone. And I think they even said that they're rookies. So why are they there? Why are they there? Like Adam Smasher is just supposed to be comic relief. And it didn't work for me. I didn't find him funny. I found him just to be annoying and he wasn't endearing at all. It was nothing about him that was like, oh, okay, this is, he's cool, he's fine, he's being funny. I just found him annoying. At one point, when they're trying to talk to Black Adam, trying to calm him down and be like, hey, man, he has like a bucket full of what is it like? I don't think it's chicken. It's like I think it's wings. He's eating a bucket of wings, and then Dr. Fate is like takes it away from him. Right? That's supposed to be like a gag, like a funny moment. Like, I didn't find that funny at all. I found it stupid. I found it really dumb. Uh, it wasn't endearing. Like I said, it wasn't endearing at all. Uh, look, I hate to compare it to the Marvel characters, but at least with Paul Rudd, he made it endearing. He made it like lovable but this guy was just goofy. I don't know. I don't know. And then Cyclone. What did she do? What was her purpose there, man? Her purpose was to give us this not even 20 seconds. It was 15 seconds of her backstory. I was saying, oh yeah, when I was 15, I was experimented on. She was telling that to Adam Smasher, and he goes, "I'm sorry," and then they just moved on. That's it. They moved on from that. And her whole powers is they're showing her always in slow motion, spinning around, right? Because she can do like cyclones, right? She's spinning around and then she goes like this, right? She goes like this always with her power and throwing gust of winds. That's all she's doing. Throwing a gust of wind. That's her power. It was so they were throwaway characters. Why use them? If you're gonna write as a writer, right? You gotta if you're gonna make a script and you're gonna think of what superheroes am I gonna put in this to fight Black Adam. If we're gonna make Black Adam like as powerful as Superman, but deadly, right? Like he doesn't care about killing people, right? If that's where we're going, give us characters that make sense for that mission. Cyclone was literally throwing when we first saw her in action. She was throwing these metal rods around Black Adam, like she was gonna imprison him with metal rods. When we can see before that he's smashing everything. He has these lightning bolts that coming out of his arm, his hands. He has this great power, and she's just putting these metal rods around him. It made no sense. Made no sense. And then even at the end when she's fighting the bad guy, she's just throwing wind at his face, where the guy's like, oh. It was silly. It was really silly. Nothing against the actors. The actors were doing their job. They're fine. It's the people that are writing, right? That are coming up with like, okay, like I said, what characters are we gonna incorporate to fight Black Adam? And does this make sense? Or if we are gonna use them, how can we make it clever? How can we make it believable that they can also help? Because they didn't help. They were especially Adam Smash it was comic relief, and she was just throwing wind, literally throwing wind at people. That's all she was doing. A gust of wind. Here's a gust of wind for you. Here's a distraction. Here's wind. It was ridiculous. They got more in the way than anything. At least with Hawkman, he looked cool and he was fighting, but obviously he was overpowered. But he still looked cool, and it was frustrating. It was really frustrating. And then, oh, get to the end. The big bad guy, right? So finally, like I said in the beginning, one of the guys that was with the lady when they found the crown, he finally gets a hold of it, but then he dies, right? So we think that's it. So then Black Adam gives himself up. He gives himself up to Amanda Waller, and they imprison him because he says Shazam, and he goes back to his regular form. And he tells Hawkman, hey, I'm gonna say, once I say Shazam, don't make me say it again. Don't keep me from saying it again. So I thought they would maybe kill him. That would have been cool. If you would have told Hawkman you got to kill me, but I mean, obviously Hawkman kept saying throughout the film you can't kill people, so obviously that wouldn't work. So they imprison him, right? They submerged him and they put him in a state of animation, or I forgot what they called it. And so they're just gonna keep him that way. But obviously, that's not the end of the story. The guy that was with her, yes, he died on purpose to come back because he wrote the inscription that in death comes life or whatever from the crown. So the evil, forgot what they were called. They're like, okay, we have our champion. It's him now, right? So he was resurrected and he becomes their champion, just like the wizards have Shazam, right? Now that evil has their own champion. But the problem that I have, and again, it's sloppy writing. They made him into a CGI character, of course, a monster, not even human like Black Adam, and he looks like the devil with horns. Ah, it was so frustrating. I'm like, come on. Like when you guys were sitting down thinking of the story, thinking of like, okay, what's gonna be the bad guy and what is he gonna look like? And the one guy's like, you know what? We'll give the audience something they've never seen before. A CGI character that looks like the devil. Oh my God. We've seen this already in Wonder Woman. We've seen this already in other films, whether it's Marvel or DC. We've seen this already. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. And I know that maybe someone will say, no, they were looking at these ancient, images of evil, whatever, and they had the horn, blah, blah, blah. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. I'm sorry. That's just lazy, man. Give us something more original. Give us something more original. Why does he have to be a CGI character that has horns that looks like the devil? Come on, man. That's just so lazy to me. I don't know. And then obviously, Black Adam comes back because Dr. Fate is like, hey, look, we need you. We need you to come back. We need you to come back. We need you to be the hero. Either you can be the destroyer like we seen in the like we see in the trailer. You can either be the destroyer of this world or you can be its savior, right? Its hero. And so he tells him that he frees him, even though he's fighting the bad guy. He frees him from the thing, but he still has the mask on. So then, you know, the Rock's character has to fight his way out of the under because they are underground and submerged in under the sea. And he comes back out, and but he seems like he's trying to get back to the surface of the out of the water, but he's like, I guess he doesn't make it, so he's like technically almost dead. But then obviously he comes back and he says Shazam, and he comes back as Black Adam, right? And then he fights the bad guy, and then at the end he just tears him apart from the horns. Ah, this film, man. So disappointed. There's even more things. I mean, I'm skipping a lot of things because that's how disappointed I am in this film. It's just very frustrating because I really want superheroes to be taken seriously. I really want them to be good. Because what's the whole thing, right? Like a lot of people say, okay, um, superhero fatigue, and I don't buy that, right? But it will become superhero fatigue if we continue to get bad movies. And I'm not just talking about DC. I'm also talking about Marvel. Doctor Strange wasn't good for me. Thor, um, Love and Thunder wasn't great. They weren't as bad as Black Adam, but they weren't great. So yes, we will start getting super fatigue if we get poor quality films like this. We cannot continue to just do that, man. We gotta get better at this, man. We need we have to demand better product because there are really good superhero films with good stories. We can't just give it. They can't just give us this BS, this repurposed material that we've seen before, right? They just cobbled together and like, oh, here's the film. No, it's got to be better than this, man. It's got to be better. If this movie would have came out when superhero movies were first starting to come out, the very beginning, right? Fine. This could have been like an introduction, right, to superhero films, and we could have been like, oh, how amazing this is. We're looking at people with powers as superheroes. They're jumping from the page of comic books into the big screen. This is awesome, right? That could have been the like a good start, right? Like just a good introduction. Be like, oh, this is cool. Even though it's not a great film, but it could have been like, oh, this is pretty cool. Imagine what it can be in the future. Imagine what they can really do if they tell a good story. That could have been something, but we're not. We've gone beyond that. We've gone beyond that already. We're at the point where we're making really good, interesting superhero films, right? And this genre doesn't need this and doesn't we can't accept this. We doesn't need this anymore. It's gonna bring it down, man. And then people are gonna complain about it, of course, these critics that don't like superhero films. And then like, you see the trash we get? Oh, this is the trash. Directors trashing superhero films. Oh, we can't have that, man. These studios and these writers gotta be more clever. They gotta be like, no, this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough, right? They gotta demand better. We have to demand better. So I look, yes, I'm paying money to go see it. I barely saw it, like it's been over an hour. Look, I enjoy watching superheroes and I'm gonna continue. But I'm also not gonna just be blind and be like, oh yeah, this because it's a superhero film, it's great. Everything's good. It's a spectacle. Oh, it's just a fun ride. Let's just, can't we just accept it as a fun ride? No, it has to be a good story as well, man. Look, it can be really, it can be a fun ride. It can have great CGI, great VFX, but it also has to have a good, coherent story that it makes sense and it moves the superhero genre forward, man. This is moving it backwards. It is when it's this basic storytelling is just it's not good. And then all the slow mo and trying to be cool and what the direction did, even the score I didn't like. I didn't like the score at all. I didn't. I did for whatever reason. I didn't like the score. The score. And then the mid credit scene, right? Let's get to that. There's no post credit scene in case you're wondering. There's none at all. But there's the mid credit scene, and it's Amanda Waller talking to Black Adam. It's like, okay, you don't have to be in my prison, okay, but you have to stay in Kondak. You have to. That's your prison now. If you step outside of Kondak, you're gonna regret it, right? You're gonna die. And he's like, he's like, no one can stop me. No one on this earth can stop me. And she's like, well, okay, I'll send someone that isn't from this earth, right? And he's like, bring it. And she's like, okay. And then he destroys that image, right? Because it's like a drone that's projecting her. He destroys it, and then all of a sudden we see Superman, and he's like, oh, I've forgot the words he said. It's like it's been a while since the Earth has. I don't know. He said something. It's been a while since something interesting has happened, or something like that. I forgot what he said. And so we see Henry Cavill as Superman, which is cool. I like Henry Cavill, but okay, it's gonna be a. They better not make like a Batman v Superman type of thing, where they're gonna fight, and then what he's gonna say, Martha, and then Superman's like, what? Or Batman's gonna be like, oh, Martha, right? Oh my god. So I don't know, man. It's cool seeing Henry Cavill. That's cool, but what I'm really wondering is gonna happen is because the new regime in DC, and specifically WB, they took over, right? And so they have a new game plan for a 10-year. They want to do like a 10-year um, game plan for DC. But this is before the 10-year game plan. It doesn't start here. So that's going to be really interesting what's going to happen. Are they going to make it Black Adam 2? Even if it makes money? I assume so. But then how are they going to reset it? I'm assuming they're going to try to use the Flash, sort of reset it, and maybe keep Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam, maybe keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, keep certain people as that character, even though they're gonna try to reset it for the new 10 years, right? They're trying to do almost like what because he even said it when the new regime took over, they're gonna try to do like what Marvel did and plan it out. But that hasn't started yet. That's probably gonna start like in 2 years. So I'm wondering what's gonna happen with this film. What's gonna happen with the Black Adam franchise? Is it gonna continue? I assume so. And I assume they're gonna try to do it even before the 10-year plan takes into effect, goes into effect, right? So that's going to be really interesting what they do. I am looking. I'm really that part I am super curious about. What are they going to do? What's the 10-year game plan? And I'm wondering if they're going to do like a Marvel type of thing where they're going to, do like a presentation. I assume so, and try to get the hype, and then show like, okay, from 2025, this is when it starts, or something like that, and this is the game plan that we have. This is going to come with this movie, this movie, this movie, this movie. So I'm wondering what's going to happen. That's the interesting part, because that's really we'll see what happens. So yeah, so that was Black Adam. I was disappointed. I left a lot on the table, to be honest, but I don't know, man. I was disappointed. Maybe you enjoyed it, and that's fantastic. I didn't. It's not a terrible film. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm saying a lot of negative things, but it's not a terrible film. It's just I'm disappointed because it could have been better, and it should have been better. And it's just what I'm worried about is just the people that don't like superhero films can point to these movies that aren't great. And yes, other genres they have bad films, but they don't have the bad rap that superhero films have, right? People just complain about superhero films, unfortunately. But luckily they are making money, so we are going to continue seeing them. And like I said, there's really good ones. There's some really good ones. And we have to and we want to make all they should all be good. But this just sets it back, man. It's just not good. So hopefully they can course correct and actually think about what they really want to do with it, how they really want to implement Black Adam into the DC universe, and just make it good. Make it just I don't know, just have a really solid story with emotions, true emotions, and better direction and better writing, man. The writing is just so sloppy. So that's my take on it. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Comment down below. If you enjoyed it, maybe or if you didn't, let me know why. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a a thumbs up, or a like. Jeez. And if you enjoy the content of my channel, feel free to subscribe because that would really help me and help me grow. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.